And you only have one child? Okay, if we were to break down
that he knows of. Let's just go ahead and
what
put
was
that.
that? How would you know?
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, I mean, there might be some other women out there
Wait a minute, in fairness.
that may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his kid.
Dustin's been MIA for almost a year, but now he suddenly wants back in. On his own terms, of course. His big plan? Skip child support and just cover daycare instead. Sounds like a fair deal, right? Not to Sarah. She says daycare isn't enough, and she wants full child support on top of that. Now here's where things get messy because, let's be honest, the system usually favors the mother. But will the court actually agree with Sarah, or will Dustin catch a break? Let's dive in and see how this one plays out.
Is it Miss or Mrs. Cheney?
Mrs.
Mrs. Cheney.
Remarried.
You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
So, we were friends. We went out for drinks after a promotion, and everybody else left. It left us two. Had a little too much to drink. Anyway, I ended up pregnant. He's completely out of the picture. Doesn't answer text calls, whatever. All of a sudden, he comes to me and says he wants to be a part of our kid's life. And I said, okay, well, you're gonna have to give me child support. I'm not just gonna let you all of a sudden be dad, you know? And
how old is the child?
He's 18 months.
Okay.
18 months, yep.
Okay, continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. So he's like, well, I can't pay child support, but I'll pay the daycare bill. Daycare's $8.55 a month. Okay. He claims he only makes $24,000 a year. That adds up to almost half his income if that's what he actually said. I mean, this is not the way a guy who lives a life of $24,000. I mean, that suit probably costs like, I don't know, half that or something.
It is a nice suit.
I shop clearance.
Okay.
I do pretty well on sales.
He shops on clearance.
Okay. I've never seen that suit at JCPenney, but all right.
Okay. So $855 a month in daycare. You say you make $24,000 a year.
$24,000 a year, that is
And
correct.
I do have his tax returns that he produced showing $24,000 a year, but you're self-employed?
That is correct.
So you did your own tax return?
I do, yes.
So is it accurate, or did you manipulate it?
If you're questioning if I'm being honest in my tax returns,
Yes.
I am being honest in my tax returns, Your Honor.
Okay. And I can only go based off of what he produces. Living wise, do you live with someone?
I'm in an apartment sharing situation right now with the money I make every month, and with basically close to half of my salary going to pay for daycare for our child. I've got to share. I can't afford my own place on my own.
Okay. And living expenses, they're shared between your roommates?
Pretty much we kind of split the groceries, things like that. Utilities get split evenly.
Okay. Well, then that kind of makes sense. So you're asking, what exactly are you?
Dustin disappeared for a year, and now he suddenly wants back in his kid's life. He agreed to cover $850 a month for daycare, but now he's claiming he only makes $20K a year and can't afford it. Sarah isn't budging. She wants child support on top of daycare. Will the judge cut Dustin a break, or is he about to pay even more? Let's find out. Next voice. Sarah's calling Dustin shady for affording daycare but not child support. And honestly, she's got a point. Just because she makes more doesn't mean she should pay for everything. But here's where it gets wild. Judge V shuts her down, because what she's asking for doesn't even make sense. Sarah throws in a petty that he knows of. When asked if this is Dustin's only kid, trying to paint him as a deadbeat with zero proof. What do y'all think? Is Dustin dodging responsibility, or is Sarah just doing the most? Let's dive back in.
That it seems kind of sketchy that he can afford almost $900 a month in daycare, but won't pay child support. I feel like there's something going on with the money situation. There's got to be a reason why he's doing things the way he does.
So you want him to pay $855 in daycare and child support?
I mean, he wants to be a part of his life.
That wasn't my question.
Okay.
Do you want him to pay $855 in daycare as well as pay child support on top of that?
I want us to be able to talk and discuss and find a number that works for both of us and that I think is fair.
Okay.
Just because I make more money than him doesn't mean I should be covering all of the child's expenses. $855 is daycare.
I definitely agree with that. I agree with that. So what is the middle ground that you're looking for? Because legally, he cannot pay daycare and child support. I mean, you can't have it both ways. So what would be a middle ground for you?
I guess we'd have to kind of discuss what would be child support versus daycare and how the parental responsibilities would change. Would he get them on weekends? Would he get them on holidays? Things like that. So, because he doesn't live real close either, you know.
Well, we're here today, so let's discuss it. Like I said, he cannot pay daycare on top of child support. It just can't happen. So if you were to give him a number that's in between the 24,000 because when you break that down based on child support for one child, it's not a lot of money. So if you were, let's say it's about $300 in child support. If you add that to $855, you're talking about child support in excess of $1,000. Are you asking that he pay $1,000 in child support?
I guess not exactly. I don't.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out why you're here and what you're asking me to do.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out what to do with the situation with him. I don't have a law degree. I don't have a lawyer. I don't know exactly how these things work.
Okay. And I'm helping you guys as much as I can.
Yeah, so I didn't know that you couldn't do daycare and child support. And I don't know what, I've never had child support before. I have no idea. I don't know, what you can do, what you can't do, what happens with visitation and stuff like that. He was absent the entire first year, completely absent. So I paid 100% of everything. He was in the hospital after he was born. I took care of those bills.
And you didn't give her any money?
Not at that point, Your Honor, no.
What was the reason for that?
I was effectively in the same situation I am now. Again, being self-employed, my income has not gone up. There was a little bit of a disconnect between the two of us. I probably, looking back, should have stepped in sooner, and that's all I'm trying to do now.
Okay.
I want to have a relationship with our son. The amount I'm paying on a monthly basis is already, again, 45% or so.
It's a lot.
Of my income. I don't know the percentages, et cetera, what I'm required to do. I feel I'm already stepping up, and by paying the full daycare, as far as I know, and I've talked to some friends, I'm paying more than I actually have to.
He actually is. Because if we were to break down, based on what it is that he makes, if we were to break down, and you only have one child?
Yeah.
Okay, if we were to break down
that he knows of. Let's just go ahead and
what
put
was
that.
How will you know?
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, there might be some other women out there.
Wait a minute, in fairness.
That may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his kid.
In fairness, he wasn't alone in knocking you up.
I get that. And I took 100% responsibility for that child for a full 12 months.
On him.
Okay.
Let's not